So I just stumbled across some fascinating info about the Linux kernel and its documentation process. It's surprisingly intricate.
Oh, totally. The fact that you can build documentation in different formats like HTML and PDF is really cool. Why do you think they do that?
Right? It's like they want to make it as accessible as possible. But do you ever wonder if all this complexity is necessary?
That's a good point. While I appreciate the effort to cater to different users, I wonder if it just adds to the confusion for newcomers.
Exactly. I mean, if you're just trying to get started, all these formats can feel overwhelming. It's like being at a buffet but not knowing what to choose.
Haha, right. And speaking of getting started, did you notice they emphasize reading the README first? That seems like a crucial step.
For sure, it's like a guidebook for navigating this complex terrain. But what happens if someone skips that?
They could easily miss essential info, like the requirements for building and running the kernel. That sounds like a recipe for trouble.
Wait, seriously? So if you don't read that, you might end up with a non-functional setup? That's pretty risky.
Yeah, and the documentation mentions potential problems from upgrading your kernel too. It's like a minefield without guidance.
That's unexpected. It's like every time you update, you have to brace for impact, and if you don't know what to look for, yikes.
Exactly. But I wonder, is that just a downside of the open source model? Like, is it always going to be this complex?
That's a good observation. There's definitely a trade-off between flexibility and user-friendliness, but what if they simplified it?
Simplifying might make it more user-friendly, but at what cost? Would experienced users feel hampered?
Great question. It's like, do you want a streamlined experience or a robust toolkit? Is there a middle ground?
Maybe a tiered documentation approach could work, like basic for beginners and advanced for experts.
Oh, that's a neat idea. It could guide users based on their experience level, but how would they implement that?
They could use tags or categories within the documentation, but that requires upkeep. I'm curious about their process.
Speaking of processes, I find it interesting they use ray-structured text for formatting. What's up with that?
It's a markup language that's designed to be easy to read and write, but not everyone prefers it. How do you feel about it?
I'm not entirely sold. It seems to create a barrier for people who aren't tech-savvy. Can't we make it more visual?
Totally. Visuals can simplify understanding. Maybe integrating multimedia elements could help convey complex ideas better.
That sounds promising, though I wonder if it would make the documentation heavier or slow to load.
That's a valid concern. Balancing content richness with performance is a tricky dance, isn't it?
Yeah, and it seems like the Linux kernel community might benefit from user feedback loops. What do you think?
Absolutely. Engaging users could reveal common pain points, leading to improvements. But how do we incentivize that?
Great question. Maybe gamifying the feedback process could encourage more contributions, like a leaderboard for helpful feedback.
That's a fun idea. It turns user engagement into a community-building exercise. But would it dilute the quality?
Good point. Quality over quantity is essential. We wouldn't want noise drowning out valid insights.
Exactly, it's such a balancing act. And the kernel itself, it's always evolving, isn't it?
Wait, does that mean the documentation has to constantly adapt too? That's a lot of work.
Yes, continuous updates can create discrepancies between the kernel and its documentation. That's another layer of complexity.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that. So how do they manage to keep everything aligned?
Well, there are usually dedicated teams for this, but it's an ongoing challenge. They need a good version control strategy.
That makes sense, and consistency is key. If users get mixed messages, they'll likely get frustrated.
For sure, it's a bit like trying to follow a recipe with missing steps. You end up with a mess.
Haha, exactly, and we all know how important clear instructions are, especially in tech.
Totally. So, circling back, do you think the Linux kernel community could benefit from a more organized structure?
Definitely, a clearer documentation hierarchy might help both new and experienced users. It's worth considering.
Agreed, it could streamline the onboarding process too. So what's the takeaway here?
I think we're highlighting the need for balance between complexity and accessibility. It's an ongoing challenge.
Exactly. And maybe the future of documentation could be more user-driven. That's something to ponder.
Definitely, so as we dive deeper into tech, let's keep questioning how we can make it more inclusive.